Okay, so what we're going to go over is a little bit of conformation and some different stuff on like where you need to be, where you need to stand, and why you need to stand where I'm telling you to stand, okay? So when looking at horses, it's important in the handling aspect too, especially for pre-professional majors, to be able to identify some conformational faults in horses to know what they're predisposed to. Okay, so some of these horses, they're a lot different on how they're built. Okay, and age factors into that a lot too. Okay, so looking at these three horses that we have, you can kind of scan them. Which one here do you think is the oldest? What happens when you get older? Muscle kind of deteriorates a little bit, right? Okay, so we're kind of lacking a little bit of muscling more on this horse than we all are the rest of them. Okay, so that horse there is 2. The mare over there, she's like 7 or 8, I believe. Okay, and this one would be about 15. Okay, so he's quite a bit older. And generally where you'll see that is along their top line. Okay, they'll kind of lose a little bit of their muscle there. Now, if they're not getting worked a lot, you'll really see that. So he hasn't been worked in a while, so he doesn't have as much muscle built up as those 2 horses over there. Okay, so one of the important things to consider when you're around horses is anytime you go to approach a horse, I always draw a line from their shoulder. Okay, it's 90 degrees from that horse. Okay, if we go here and draw a straight line out right here, I don't want to approach that horse behind this line. Okay, I can go behind that line once I'm up there, but if I'm approaching a horse, I don't want to come at this angle because I don't want to have to get kicked. Okay, and I know a lot of this seems like you've already heard this before, and some of you have. Okay, but it's good to rehear it some, and some of you may need this. So this 90-degree angle, I'm either approaching right at it or in front of that. All right, so I'm going to come up to his head. I'm either going to touch him on the forehead, I'm going to approach the neck, or I'm going to pet him right here at the withers. Okay? These are our safe spots. Is on his neck, on around his shoulder, or around his wither, on his forehead. Okay? What I don't want you to do is I don't want you to walk up and do this. Okay? Most horses won't care about that. But some horses don't like that. All right? It'd be like if I went up to you and just put my hand over your nose. Okay? That's where they breathe from. So a lot of times they're not very comfortable with being touched right on that spot there. Okay, so we don't necessarily want to do that. All right. So when I go to pet this horse, if I'm directly in front of him, touch his forehead. Okay, and then I'm going to work my way back to whatever I need to do. If I'm grooming, if I'm picking up his feet, if I have to wrap his legs, if I have to give him a shot, whatever it might be, I'm always going to start right here. All right, and remember this too. This is just a really simple rule. When I'm on the left side, I keep my left hand on him. When I'm on his right side, I keep my right hand on him. All right, and there's several reasons why. Number one, when I've got my left hand on right here, when I go to do whatever I'm needing to do, if for some reason I cause that horse some discomfort, I give it a shot, I'm picking around in an area that might be sensitive and he decides to turn and bite me, okay, my elbow is here to block him from coming into me, okay? That's why I've got that there. Now, I don't want to keep it like this because it wouldn't do me any good. Okay, so I'm going to keep my arm up and keep my elbow on him, or my hand on him, the whole time I'm here. All right? And the reason I'm telling you to do this too is because how I want you to position your body will not allow you to see his head. Okay? So when you're standing next to a horse, I want you facing south, basically, with the horse. Okay? Face his rear end. Now, and the reason why is I want you to be keeping your toes pointed away from his toes. Okay, this is what I see a lot of. People do stuff just like this. Is that a bad idea? Definitely. Okay, because now we don't have very many flies today, but when we've got flies on them, they'll just pick their foot up and stomp it. Okay, they don't always land it directly where they've got it. Sometimes it'll be in front of them, to the side of them. I don't know. I won't know. Okay, so when I'm standing here, I want to keep my feet pointed away. All right, now you don't need to do this. Okay, that'd be a little excessive. All right, but I'm going to keep a good balance, and I'm going to keep my toes out of the way of him. All right, so if I'm to go to the other side, I'm going to give you 2 options. Okay, this is option A. okay? This is option B. What's better? A or B? A. Okay, why? I know it seems really simple, and you guys are like, this is dumb. Okay, but I want to make sure that you understand this part of it. Okay, so... Say that again. Yes. Yeah, exactly. He knows I'm there the whole time. Now, these are creatures that when in a stall, when you have a water bucket in the corner, they will poop in their own water source. Okay, I've cleaned it out many times. So the fact that they can forget that you're there when you're just briefly walking behind them does not surprise me. Okay, it really does not. They're not the most smartest animals in the world. So set yourself up for success when you do this. Okay, so I keep my hand on him the whole time to, one, let him know I'm there, and two, if I was to punch him in the shoulder, okay, let's say you give me this much room to hit him as hard as I can. I can't come back. I've just got to go from here and just straight into his shoulder, okay? I probably wouldn't have a ton of power to do that. If you gave me this much room, I'd be able to hit him a whole lot harder, right? Okay, so same thing when you're walking around his back end. The closer I stay, the more it's going to be like a very strong shove rather than a whack, okay? If I get out here in this area here, this is his spot. He's like, I can knock the crap out of you from here, okay? And even farther back, if you're going to walk behind a horse, you give them at least a full horse length, okay? You give them, I mean, talking at least this much, all right? So you got two options. You either go really close or you go really far. Don't stay in that mid zone, okay? That's his wheelhouse. He'll knock a home run with you. All right, so if I go to the other side, I stay close here. I keep my body on him, and if I don't have much room here, I'm going to stay close to him, and I'm going to shove him over. Okay, you see how I stayed close to him the whole time, and I didn't do this. I didn't shove him and then let him go over there. Okay, because he could step away from me and then just go whack. All right, now I'll say this. Most horses are not going to do that. All right, but you're not always going to have perfect horses to do this with. Okay, so to be able to do this with horses that you can practice on that are good will kind of prepare you for horses that are bad, all right? Because those bad ones are really where you'll learn what to do correctly, all right? That's why I'm communicating this to you, because I have been kicked. I have been bit. I know where to put my feet because I've been stepped on before, okay? So I'm trying to teach you this before it actually happens to you. And you'll learn real fast if it actually happens to you, where you should put your feet and stuff. Okay, so when I'm on this side here, I've got my right hand on, right? Right hand, right side, left hand, left side. So I stay on this side. Same deal when I go to the other side here. Okay? I might move them over. Now, these horses, if I need to manipulate them, where I'm going to move them, or if they go to step into me, okay, I might actually smack him in the belly. What we do to them is nothing like what they do to each other out in the pasture for fun. Okay? Me smacking him is like taking a wet noodle and whacking you on the arm with it, okay? It's really not much. If anything, it's going to scare him more than it's going to hurt him. Okay, so if you have to, whack him if they go to come into you, okay? Now, if he's not paying attention, I'm not just going to walk up and whack him right in the belly, okay? Because that's a good way to get kicked, because he doesn't know, all right? So one more thing that we're going to talk about, since it's a handling class, and we're preparing you for just things that happen with horses. One of the most common injuries with horses is going to be in their legs or their feet. Okay, that's where we'll see most of our problems. All right, so I want to teach you how to pick a foot up. Some of you know how to do this already, but I'm going to show you the way I do it and why I do it this way. So, again, keep my left hand on him. When I trace down, I'm going to trace down the front of his leg. I'm going to start with my hand on his body and go down with my hand all the way to his fetlock, the base of his fetlock, which is right here, okay? So what I don't want to do is I don't want to go from here straight to grab it, okay? Because he doesn't know I'm coming. He doesn't know I'm fixing to put my hand on his leg. And if you're dealing with a horse in a clinic, you don't know if he's had a hand on his leg. And just because someone tells you that they're safe and that they're broke, do not believe them. Okay, I've had plenty of horses come through where it's like, oh yeah, this horse is bomb-proof, kid safe. Those who have messed with horses know what I'm talking about. Everybody thinks their horse is more safe and gentler than they actually are. Okay, and generally, when you take a horse out of a situation that they're used to, they're going to act worse than they normally do. So even if you take a horse somewhere, know that I tell everybody, if I take my horse somewhere, I'd be like, hey, watch him. You know, he's not 100% bomb-proof. I wouldn't call any of them 100% bomb-proof. Okay? So, keep my right hand on him. As I trace down, I keep my left hand there. I don't want to stand way out here. Okay, when I go to pick these feet up, I want to keep them as close under his body as I possibly can. Okay, that's a lot less stress on him. If I'm pulling his legs out and cranking them this way, they're not built to do that. Okay, so I have to keep his feet underneath him. He'll fight me a lot less if I do. So I go down with my right hand, push a little with my left hand to take his weight off this foot. Wait till he breaks it over, bring it up, and I get my thumb out of the way. Okay, does everybody see that? I don't want to hold him like this, because if he goes to fight it and then dislocates my thumb, it wouldn't be a good deal. Okay, so I hold at the base of this is called the coronet band. Okay, that's where I'm holding, is right at the base of that to support his weight. Some horses will lean on you just a little bit more. You just got to deal with that. Okay, he's just holding it up for me. That's great. Okay, so if I go to pick his foot, you can see it's kind of clumped up here. I don't have a hoof pick with me. But if I was to pick his foot, I'd put it in my left hand and go ahead and scrape it out. Okay, if you're checking for abscesses or anything like that that might cause them to go lame, then this is where I'm going to do it. I'm going to check it in the sole of that hoof, but I got to be able to clean it first. Okay, now look where my feet are. See, I've got my feet tucked and away from him. Okay, if he goes to fight me, he's going to shove his foot to the ground. I don't want to put my foot right there. I've seen it happen a lot, and I've heard some screams that I didn't know people could make because they left their foot right there and they go to put their foot down and steps right on top of their toe, and it does not feel good, especially when they got shoes on. Okay, so keep your feet out of the way. When I go to set it down, I do just like that. I set it down. Don't drop it. If you drop it and their foot hits the ground, guess what? They're probably not going to want you to pick it up next time. Okay? All right, so let's go to the back side here. This mask is making me really hot. So, keep my left hand on him. Trace my right hand down. He's already got his leg lifted for me. Trace my left hand down to his cannon bone, the back side of his cannon bone. That's what this bone is here. When I pick it up, I'm going to pick it up here. Okay, this is what a lot of people do. They come way out here and try to pick it up like this. The leg doesn't swing that way. The leg needs to swing forward this way. Okay, and then you can walk it backwards. But when you first pick it up, come back here to his flank and pull here. Don't pull here. His leg, that's like taking me and trying to stretch me out. That just wouldn't work. Okay, you'd hear me scream. Trace down the back side, push a little with my left hand here. See how he kind of lifts it up and then relaxes. Okay, I'm waiting for him to relax it before I go to walk it backwards. Okay, now I want to give a lot of support to him here, because if I just let go of it real quick, it's gonna hurt him just a little bit. Okay, especially him because he's a little bit older. Okay, once I've got it walked out, now I can take my hoof pick it out. When I go to bring it back, I bring it all the way back here. Let him relax, and then set it down. Okay, always start by bringing it here, then working it back. And when you go to let it go, bring it back, put it back down. Okay, this is like taking your leg and someone lifting it straight up to stretch you. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty stiff. So if someone was to do that, I'd want them to do it really slow. Same way with the horses. Don't just take that leg and rip it up. Be real gentle with it. So yeah, as far as that goes, stay close to them. That's one of the main things we'll go over. Go down the front of the leg. On the front, keep that hand on them, grab its base, pick up. Sometimes if they fight you, just hold it until they relax, all right? Or if they go to swinging it around, just hold on to it until they relax. If they swing and get it away from you, go right back to it, pick it up, and try it again, okay? Because what we don't want to teach them is that you come in here and you're just bluffing about holding their foot up. okay? Because if you go to pick their foot up and they swing it a little bit and you drop it, they're going to know right there, oh, all I have to do is a little bit of this and they'll let go of my foot. Okay, so don't teach them that. You just immediately pick it back up and try to go right back to it. Ideally, if they're really fighting you, as soon as you feel them relax, then set it down and give them just a little bit of a break. They're like, I'll be good if you'll be good. Okay? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to pick up these horses' feet. We're going to talk about some, I guess we've already talked about conformation a little bit, but you can kind of see the differences in these horses as far as muscling goes. This horse here lacks a little bit along his top line. You don't see as much in his butt here. You'll really start to see some muscling here in the loin, okay? There'll actually be a divot in the horse's butt. So if you guys will walk over here, bring a camera over here too. This horse here, see if you can come over here. Come around the front of me. So, bring it like right up here. I don't know how well they'll be able to see this. But this horse here will actually has a little bit of a divot right here in this butt. So this horse has been rode a lot. Okay, so what you'll see a lot of times when they're worked and they're in shape, this is kind of like, you know, muscles on us. They'll start building this up. So this divot along their top line kind of shows that muscle that they built. And along the back, you'll see a lot of that too. Okay? And then in the shoulder. If we look in this one's shoulder, we can see a lot more definition. Now, he's younger, so he's not as big as that horse is, but we're starting to get a lot of definition here in the shoulder and within the stifle. And the reason I'm telling you this is, what do you think the best thing is for injury or lameness when it comes to, let's say, arthritis or any type of pulled muscle, once it's worked out, things that really predispose a horse to injuries? What's one of the main things, even for people? You know, what should we do every day that we don't? Work out, exercise, okay? So the best thing you could do for horses is move them around. These animals are built to go somewhere. So the better you keep them in shape, the less likely you'll have issues, okay? And I've got a horse down there too that's foundered, and he's got some special shoes on that we'll go over at some point too. But the better they are in shape, the less you'll have troubles with them in the future, okay? It's really hard for people to understand that. Okay, look at dogs, for example. How many fat dogs do we see? If you have a dog that's in shape, everybody calls your dog skinny and poor, right? Yeah, but it's not, okay? A fit dog is a dog that's going to have a lot less problems with arthritis, joint issues, stuff like that, right? Can we all agree on that? Yeah? But we don't see that. Everybody wants a fat, plump dog because they think that's healthy. And that's not necessarily healthy. Okay, it's the same way with horses. The fleshier they want, the more they might be predisposed to some issues. Okay? All right, so we'll go ahead and stop the recording, and everybody's going to do some hands-on stuff. Okay? And we'll try to figure something out as far as getting it